Talking about it pretty much after every day's play, saying that this is as good as it gets in Test cricket. Obviously the crowd was incredible and we felt their support and that was amazing on the field, but just the type of cricket that was played. I think if you were a fan and you came to day 1, 2 and 4, there would have been probably one of the most exciting cricket games you would have seen. So it was fantastic to be a part of. It definitely ranks up as one of my favourite Test matches, yes.
It's a wonderful venue to be playing a cricket at. I think the crowd down here it's amazing. I think when we walked up there this afternoon, defending 208, there's just no better place to play. I think with the crowd cheering us on, that momentum carrying you, and bowling from the Kelvin Grove end, it's not unfamiliar, but it's a bit out of my territory because I love the other side of the Wynberg end. But I think there was a little bit of obviously pace from this end. Looked to be squatting a little bit, and I had to obviously use it to my advantage.
I'd like to think that we're, not just myself, but that we're a team that are prepared to take risks, to win games of cricket. We expected that first hour to be tough, but we knew if we can get through that, our assessment of the pitch, that it would speed up. And as you saw today, it was very, very hard to bat. And we felt just bowling at the Indians would be harder for them if there was pace and bounce. It did surprise me a little bit on the first morning, the pace the wicket had. And that's not something I've seen on Newlands on day 1. So that's what's made it a little bit trickier, that first hour. Normally you get movement, but it was slow. But once again, to give the groundsman credit, we asked for a pitch that had pace and bounce and a little bit of seam movement. And I think that was a great game contest between bat and bowl. So I think India would be the first to say as well that it wasn't a ridiculously sporting wicket. Once you got in on that wicket, there were some opportunities to score. This morning for us was really tough. I think that was probably the hardest time to bat in the Test match, with the covers being on for 2 days. And they bowled really well, but especially the bowlers today. They bowled in a pretty good wicket. The way they got wickets, and especially Vernon, was amazing.
Day 1 was definitely a lot faster than we thought it was going to be. I walked out there on day 1 and the spikes went straight in, and I said, I remember actually saying to Faf, I think it's going to be a touch on the slow side because of the moisture in the wicket. But it surprised all of us. It was obviously a lot harder than what we thought it was obviously supposed to be. But I think it was a good cricketing wicket all in all. I think when you look at the type of score that you defend, 208, someone has to make the play, and you can't wait for late on in the game, because there might not be a late on in the game. And I knew that I had to bowl overs up front, and obviously that to put us into a good position. And I think I just wanted to bowl and make a difference in the game.
When I saw the names that came over, you almost look at what they will offer in these conditions, and they've got also variety in their attack. They've got guys that will seam the ball around, they've got guys that swing the ball around, and then they've also got a bit of pace. So it's very similar to our attack. So not surprised. We wanted the wicket to be a little bit like that. So we expected the wicket to be a bit more of a bowler-friendly conditions. And you just needed 1 or 2 guys to step up and score some runs. So we did that fortunately in the first innings. And I even felt one of myself or AB or Quentin could have pushed through and get an 80 plus to put an even bigger total. But we know that the Indian team's got very good seamers. We back ourselves on challenging conditions just to try and be a little bit smart when we bat and try and just get a little bit more. I think pace and bounce is something that you look for in South Africa. There was movement in this Test match, and obviously overhead conditions and moisture did play a role. When we go to Pretoria, we'll hopefully get the same in Joburg. Those are renowned for wickets that are a little bit quicker, so hopefully we can get the same there.